All right, shall we get started? This is the Great Barrington Planning Board meeting for Thursday, September 11th. And this meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording the meeting? No, okay. So we'll go ahead and we will do a roll call attendance. Malcolm Fick.
Here.
Jeremy Ega.
Here.
Jackie Kane.
Here.
Jonathan Hankin.
Here.
Brandy Nelson here. All right, so next item, sadly, we have just recently lost two. I'll be using privileges of the chair to add an additional person to our moment of silence, but former board member and chairman Don Goranson, as well as former board member Pat Ryan, both have passed away. I don't know if anyone has any remembrance they want to share. Jonathan, anything? No? Chris, anything?
I'm sure Pat is correcting your minutes. Kim, still? It was really a privilege to work with both Pat and Don, both so diligent. I think, Great Barrington was their adopted town for both of them, and really they made this their home and were embraced. Don was personally very influential on me and my wife. We met him first through his wife, Nat, and Don is the primary reason why I'm sitting here today with you all, and I'll be eternally grateful to Don and Nat for everything they've done for my wife and I. And then just broadly speaking, Don's name is, I think, on all three of Great Barrington's master plans. It had profound influence on the town's planning direction. Really advocated thoughtful and inclusive discussion. Always let everybody else speak before he spoke. And just his way of approaching problems and encouraging engagement was always really special and meaningful, and I hope we can continue his legacy. So yeah, thanks to both Pat and
Thank you. So if you'll join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, well, it's sad to lose former members, but we are so grateful for their volunteerism in our community and all the things they've done to help move our community forward. So we'll get into the meat of our business tonight. We have no Form As, no last minute Form As. We do have our minutes from August 14th. Do we have a motion to approve as amended and amended?
so moved.
Thank you. Jonathan, do we have a second from Malcolm? Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, that carries. Next item on our agenda is a discussion on the Community Preservation Act plan and discussion of planning board comments to the CPC for the annual plan. Jeremy, did you want to introduce that item?
Sure. So every year, the Community Preservation Committee is tasked with updating the CPA plan. And so that is the opportunity for the committee to put forth its goals for that cycle, if it has any updates in its goals for that cycle. You can do things like specify that you just want to have town projects, or you're going to highly prioritize, or just take town projects for that cycle. You can do things like prioritizing a category by saying that you want to, for the funds in that cycle, you want to put forth a certain percentage towards a category. You can, there's a lot of things you can do, and it's one of the opportunities it's one of the places where the committee has, some real power to kind of, like set the agenda for that cycle. The two things that the committee can do is one, the plan, and then two, what the committee, forwards to the selectmen to send to town meeting is the other thing. That is, like, that's the total amount that could be, of CPA's funds that can be spent during that thing. And with each project, that's the maximum that town meeting approved to that project of CPA. So those are kind of like the two things the committee can really do, besides what the meat of the committee does is reviewing the applications.
And so remind me, there's
Three
three categories, the open space.
Open space and recreation is
Yeah.
one, historical preservation and affordable housing.
Okay,
And so, like, we have to spend 10%. Spend or reserve, I'm sorry, 10% in each category.
Right.
Every year, and then we have to put aside 5% for administration. If we don't spend all of that 5%, that goes back into the general CPA fund. But those 10%, if we don't spend them, then that's reserved in that category to be spent.
okay. And has the committee discussed to date any priorities that are sort of bubbling up from their perspective?
No, we had a meeting this past Tuesday, but we didn't really talk about plan. I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but no one's put forth. I mean, in the previous meeting, we had discussed, like, the opportunity to either prioritize things, and the feeling at that point, at least of the committee, prior to soliciting comments from other boards and committee, other town boards and committees, and receiving public input, was that, and this was kind of like, generally, this is the feeling year to year, is that they don't want to limit the types of applications that they might see, by either prioritizing, well, I guess, by limiting any category, by
Okay.
whatever. Although what we did last year, we, like, in effect, we greatly prioritized town projects, for the last year's, cycle. But there doesn't seem like a lot of will to kind of.
Be definitive. Okay, all right, that's fair.
Planning something.
Yeah, so Jackie,
So what you shared with us in that mailing was, from the year before?
It's that, yeah,
So
the
that's
current
what you're
plan.
working off of.
Generally, what the committee does is makes mild, or small changes to the plan. Like, so the numbers are updated, of course, Chris updates the numbers. And then sometimes there's some small things. I mean, you could have a wholesale change in it if you wanted to, but, yeah.
I have an overall question
Mhm.
that concerns what we're talking about now and also the OSRP. And it's the relationship with all these letters. The MDAR, Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. And they have this thing called a Massachusetts Farmland Action Plan, 2023 to 2050. And one of their goals, which they call out early on in their plan, is accelerate the permanent protection and stewardship of farmland. Because in parentheses, they say once farmland has been converted to other land uses, it'll never return to agriculture. And I was looking at the plan that from the
Yeah.
CPA of last year, and agriculture is just like in the would be nice. No, it's not that bad, but basically, the language is strongly encourages, and that's the subcategory because you have priorities. And where it's called out is protect and or connect the special places and features of our community, such as historic treasures, natural resources, farms, and open space, all that contribute to Great Barrington's distinctive character. That doesn't feel like the same kind of priority that the action plan has.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been talking to a few farmers, organizations, et cetera, and they're all concerned about protecting the existing land and not having it taken away because they need it and want it. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just, and I have more to say on that later when we get into the OSRD, but, so I'm just wondering, what do we do with that real wish, or not a requirement, but something that's highly highlighted, let's just say.
I mean, I think there's a number of things to do with it. One is, we do have an ag committee that has been really active in trying to develop town-specific policies to protect and preserve agriculture. They were very instrumental in
There are
the
lots
master
of
plan.
organizations. I was just
Yeah.
wondering about the funds here,
Yeah,
and just the
Yeah,
fact that it
well,
wasn't
the funny thing
listed as a
about
hierarchy.
The CPA though, I mean, somebody actually has to come up with the idea and present it to the CPA. But the CPA doesn't have funds to fund things. They can only say, we will fund this if somebody thinks it up and funds it.
But town committees and boards can submit applications as well, meaning like, I mean, we could if we wanted to. But, I mean, or we could back another board or committee that maybe is.
So should the ag committee be requesting money?
so what
And how
we,
much can they ask
well,
for?
There could, I don't know if there can, I mean, is that in their?
what we've done as a board, right, is try and set land use policy that is supportive of maintaining agriculture, including things like farm worker housing, right? So I think that's what we've done. As far as how that flows to CPA, I agree with Malcolm that, the CPC is waiting for either
People
the
to
community
say
or
what.
organizations or, to come to them with the idea.
But-
And so I
It's not just about money, it's about.
a
an
project, a viable
organization that's
project
able to follow
has to be
through
brought
on-
forward.
Oh, I get that totally.
Right,
Totally
right.
get that. It's not
But,
just
I
a
mean,
wish.
But as the planning board, I mean, we could do this very thing, right? We could recommend to the CPC that, we think that this is a real issue, and we think that, the CPC should put aside funds for that. I mean, you could do that with the plan. And, I mean, the planning board, we don't, I mean, Chris has brought this up before, we're not just limited to just, creating zoning to.
I think the town is a entity of sort of last resort for farmland protection though, and there's already state
But-
chapter programs and there's
But I'm not
partnership.
saying that, I mean, I'm saying just putting the funds aside, then, organizations, so like,
Yeah.
one of the land conservancies or trusts could come forth with, proposals too. And that money is just put aside for that year or for future years, only for that purpose. I mean, you could do that.
But, I mean, the CPA money has been used for agricultural land
Yeah.
protection.
Jane
I mean,
Iredale's purchases, right?
Oh, well, that's a whole
Which
nother
is
thing. I'm just
wonderful.
talking about the language. It does not seem to, it's
Yeah, but
just
what projects?
a running list of something or other. The town writes something and says, this is what we're interested in. We're strongly interested, or we prioritize or something. So when we get back into dealing with the OSRP, this is also when we're talking about open space. This is prioritizing open space that now is not, is it open space, if it's farmland? No, but yes. And so it's just protecting farmland. And we could just embrace it as, in our language, in the way we discuss agriculture. And our notion of open space.
I'm just not sure what the CPC is not doing that you think it should be doing.
Well, it could be a higher priority, right?
Well, okay, here's another case in point. It's not about agriculture. This is when I was writing about needing to preserve the documents, the photos, whatever, from the historical society. And that is clearly recognized as something that is needed to be done. And that actually is one of the eligible categories to be funded. And I just know that most of that money is being spent on Wheeler and the restoration of the building. And, I have to say that all the documentation and that historical material and photos are not being preserved. They're not cataloged. They had $1,000 rescinded from, little bits of money that they get from wherever. And I just wanted to it would just be nice to say, highlight something a little bit more in what the town is doing or what this, the CPA is doing, et cetera. Just, this is not relevant to that, but I'm just thinking the power of language, and I want to see something done, because by saying something about the documentation, and it's not just about housing, it gets called out. I mean, it's not in the lower shelf, it's something that, it's a preservation thing that really desperately needs preserving.
That did come up at the last meeting.
It did? Okay, that's.
Not in the context of the historical society or commission,
No,
but it came up in the context of
For the town.
the town clerk. The town clerk's office has thousands of records
In the
going back
basement.
to the first town meeting that need preservation, like.
No, and I actually.
So it's town documents and it's the society and commission, a lot of,
And and I actually
Document
was thinking
preservation.
about, is there a partnership between the town and the historical society? And then, because they have to share resources, their skill sets, so why can't they be shared? And I do know personally that an archivist working in the basement, not that long ago, found 2 pieces of paper of and relating to the Burkhardt family.
Mm.
And and you think, well, that was bunches of folded pieces of paper in a very dirty box. And what else is down there that we don't know?
Yeah,
Well, Jackie, I mean, there has been a lot that's going on. The Historical Society obtained a 2-year grant for cataloging. Unfortunately, the grant was terminated by the Trump administration.
Oh, I know.
After 1 year. The town has invested probably about $40,000 in archiving at the upstairs museum now over a number of years. Bernie Drew did most of the work.
For the commission,
No,
the
for
historical
the commission
commission.
and the society.
But I mean, it's together. I know I've worked in it.
That was commission work, but he also did society work. It's all in the society, the commission archives, historical archives are all in one database.
No, I know because I've actually worked in that database.
Well, I mean, it's not a very good database and it's.
And
archaic.
everything's stored in files in top of Ramsdale, which is scary.
so,
Well, it's-
so I
it's-
think we're
Yeah.
deviating from.
No, we've been off point, but I was
I
just
just-
thinking in the agricultural thing.
But all of these things were funded by CPA. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like people don't know that they can go to the CPA and get agricultural preservation money. Or that they can go to the CPA and get historical preservation money. I mean, I think that should be known by anybody who's that project. I'm not sure what more you're looking for here.
Language, just language that.
Yeah.
So
I mean-
can I make a suggestion? Cause
This
I
is another-
think
this is
there,
another
there's
discussion.
sort of some broad topic I wanted to talk with you all about under this category. So Jeremy, do you know if, when an application comes forward, what is the extent to which the CPC understands other guiding documents that other boards and committees have worked to put together, and whether that should factor into some of the decision making? Like, is there a weighting?
Not unless the applicant brings it forward
Okay,
as part of their application.
Yeah.
I mean, I think town projects and, no, I mean, the projects reference the other documents. I
Okay.
mean, particularly master plan is the one that gets
sure.
used
It's
a lot.
most well known though.
Okay.
So I guess to Jackie's point about, leveraging plans that are already in place that set priorities that align not only with the master plan, but other goals and objectives in the town. I think if we were gonna recommend anything, it would be to be a resource to the CPC on what other plans are available. I mean, we just did an accessibility review, where an idea that comes forward is also supported not only by the master plan, but also other planning documents that have been developed to prioritize them. I'd like to, if the board needs help understanding what other resources are available, or the committee needs help understanding what other resources are available to help them sort of weight and prioritize. I think we can be a resource in that respect. We've been trying to gather a lot of documentation lately. What's your take on that, Malcolm?
Mhm.
What's your take on that approach?
I agree, I mean, the open space recreation plan should be,
We're working on
Reference
it, yeah,
within-
next year.
but I mean, these documents probably should be referenced within the, CPC plan.
Yeah,
And they probably are,
we've got the new accessibility plan, there was that reference,
but why,
No, but you're right, it should be.
yeah.
Yeah, the other plan that's more recent that is referenced in terms of agriculture is the Growing Better Great Barrington Plan.
Yeah,
Um,
from years ago.
You know, so speaking about, you know, what the town's, role, say, in agricultural preservation, that a major role there was the Agricultural Commission getting the funds to pay for that consultant, to have a process, a planning process for ag, and now that agricultural plan can form the basis of how the
It's
CPA
really well
moves
done,
forward
it's rich.
with,
and it's been
with
sitting there
agricultural
dormant.
grants.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful document to have, the stats are really good.
Jonathan, you've been quiet.
Yeah. We need to talk about housing. The CPA was adopted. One of the reasons it was adopted was to try to fix the housing crisis that we're in. And which means you have to think about it differently than we've been thinking about it for the last 250 years. And so this has language in here that it says that provide housing, this is what to encourage, provide housing that is harmonious in design and style with the surrounding neighborhood. That means suburban sprawl. And so you got to get rid of that, and you've got to put in that you favor density and you favor cluster development. Without that, we're never going to be able to approach affordable housing.
Or would you consider a variety of housing types, including,
Sure.
you know?
I mean, you're right, Jonathan, I think that, what you're pointing out though is how meaningless this document is.
How, what?
How meaningless this document is, because I don't think there's been any housing project that's been denied because it wasn't harmonious with the neighborhood.
No, but they need to think about it and encourage something that isn't necessarily harmonious with the neighborhood, but actually addresses the affordable housing problem.
Language.
I mean, the committee itself cites the reason for not being that specific about things. In that they don't want to discourage other types of projects. I mean, they say that exact thing. And so, like, by saying that, you know, I mean, the idea being that, you know, people are gonna read the document and go, oh, cluster and density, okay, I should, you know, like, oh, I don't have a, they're thinking, oh, I have a project that's not that, so they don't wanna see me. But on the flip side, what it means is that people are reading it and thinking, oh, cluster density, okay. Yeah, and so, I mean, I agree with you. But, I mean, I think, you know, still. Like cluster, I think, has a better sound to it, I think, you know, I mean, density is one of those. Words that just, you know, people come out of, you know, all the abutting neighbors come out of the woodwork to like, oh my gosh, density, it's one of those scary words, and so, but, I mean, I think you're right, like, if we're gonna try to solve, you know, or if we're gonna try to, yeah, solve affordable housing. Like, how can you do it? You know,
We have
I
to
mean,
change the
that's-
way we think.
We have to change the way we think, and so like, you know, is something like the plan one of the ways to start to do that, and, you know, I mean, I think. it
Well,
is.
all this is
One
doing
more
is saying
tool.
this is what's encouraged.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
See, that's my point. It doesn't exclude the other things, but
No,
in
but-
their minds, by encouraging something, you're excluding something
But
else.
I think Jonathan's right, and it says the language that in there, about harmonious with the
Yeah.
neighborhood is antithetical to what we've been
Right.
actually
Yeah.
Right.
promoting.
Yeah, so I
which
think
is
that-
we're not promoting things that aren't friendly to the neighborhood, but
Yeah.
there are projects that have been successful here that aren't.
But I think we're seeding ideas if we change the language. We'll get people, it's just one more way of looking at this situation. And it's wordsmithing it, but it's getting out the ideas that Jonathan just expressed.
No, I don't think we should be the ones that wordsmith.
No, aren't we?
No, we're just
We're gonna
giving
give
Jeremy
providing-
information to
yeah,
take back.
Suggestions,
Yeah.
we're not doing.
I think the committee has a lot of wordsmithers on it. So-
So can you take that comment, Jeremy, and then the one about additional planning documents, including the new accessibility plan?
And it seems to me that in terms of housing, they should encourage applicants to work with the planning board.
Yeah, I mean, we can be available for like a pre-application discussion, right?
Sure.
Yeah, we'd be more than happy to be available for a pre-application discussion.
That's a good remembrance, Don, right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Anything else on CPA, folks? No? Okay, we'll let Jeremy catch up on his notes that he's taking. So then our next item on our agenda is the OSRP discussion of outreach and comments on the draft survey. Did everybody get a chance to look at the draft survey?
I've forgotten, I did it.
A
2 months
while ago, I know, I had to go dig my notes and then I had to refresh.
My memory doesn't last that.
Are, Chris, are you able to share the draft survey on screen?
Yeah, let me just shift gears.
No problem.
slightly. So currently, Seth, our planner from Berkshire Regional Planning Commission, who's working on this job with us, has been, getting input on the draft survey from different groups that he's talking to, whether it's the Land Conservancy or Railroad Street Youth Project or the high school. Trying to refine the survey, and you all are another point of refinement. Jody and I have talked a lot about the survey, and we may further refine it and really make sure that we're asking the right questions in the right order to really get valuable responses. I haven't been able to concentrate on that as much as I would like so far, but all of that is happening towards the goal, I think Seth said, of trying to complete that draft survey. I think that by the end of this month, if I'm not mistaken, and then getting it out there. The idea that the survey is out there along with interviews and discussions with stakeholders and other groups. That information, survey information, then can be distilled and presented and talked about in a series of community meetings or meetings with stakeholder groups. So that is all kind of happening in the background between planning board meetings, and Seth's working on that.
So in terms of comments that we have about the draft survey, is it useful for this board to come up with aggregated list of suggestions to send to Seth? Or should we send things to him individually? What do you think is most?
No, I think what we had thought is that you would send me your comments and I could just
Pull
feed
them
to
together?
Seth or
Okay.
pull them together and share them.
Okay,
So we're not.
So that when this board,
We're not commenting tonight.
oh no, that'd be great.
yeah, we can
Please
do
do.
that.
But then when you meet later this month, we can
Have a
have all of
revised
those in
draft.
front of us
Okay.
and have it revised.
Did folks
Yeah.
mark up the survey? That's what I
I
ended
just
up
pulled
with.
out my concerns.
You have a list of concerns?
I have a list of suggestions for here and there.
It like typed up as an email or something?
Not that I could do, I can do that easily, but not right now,
Okay, all right.
but I can talk to them.
How about you, Jonathan? Did you make any notes on the survey?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it the last time we talked about it, but the principal thing is, I think the purpose that we're working under is to get funding from the state by creating open space open space recreational plan so that we qualify for funding from the state. That's important. But I think we're missing an opportunity if this doesn't become a resource for the town. And I think, you know, a lot of mapping and a lot of things that are visitor friendly would be very helpful. That could be part of this and could be on the town website. And so if you're here visiting for the weekend and you're looking for a walk or whatever, that's critical.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you
Because
more.
that actually is one of my recommendations, is a communications plan of and relating to Parks and Rec.
Mhm.
And that should be one on the website. Two, remember, we just got this great little flyer from, about Tom
Town Ball
Mount
Mountain.
Ball Mountain. I actually went, oh, isn't this nice? Somebody reached out to me to let me know it was open. And then it's just, there are a range of other things there, like signage, et cetera, but the communication strategy and online, because I kept looking up things that were mentioned on our survey, and I'm not finding it online or on the on the town site, where I get a link to something that's old and not useful, or then I get something that I can't quite, I mean, it's not user friendly, in other words, so that, I'd
Put-
love to
can you
see the
put a pin in
website
that?
serve more effectively with our own
Well,
resources.
I asked Jeremy and Malcolm, can you just hold on to that topic for a second? And so Jeremy, did you have comments on the survey?
No, not the survey, I mean, just in general, but not specifically
Specific to the
about.
survey? Malcolm, did you have any?
No, I think the survey is a good first step. I mean, there's a lot more that needs to be done, and the survey is not gonna give the open space and recreation plan, but it's gonna.
Right,
The only thing I would suggest is adding Mason Library grounds to the outdoor areas,
sure.
especially with the voice statue there, and the sitting places, people are hanging out there all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so hang on just a second, Jackie. Yeah, I think I can send you the PDF markup that I put together, Chris.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that. I agree that intro should say more about not just the grant funding, but the opportunity
Yeah,
and how much we have, how many recreational assets we have
yeah.
and the range of them. They're
Yeah.
really quite tremendous, from playgrounds to, you know, really passive spaces just for,
But a lot of
Viewing
the public
wildlife.
ways are
Mhm.
amenities.
yep, absolutely.
I mean, the CPA should use this as a Bible, really.
Yeah.
Once kids put together.
Agreed. I do think also, I know it's sort of implicit, but I think it's helpful to say Great Barrington and Housatonic. Just because it feels more equitable to make sure we're pointing out both parts of the community. And I'll send that over to you.
It's not discriminatory.
No, I don't think it is. Why, do I need to say so? Am I
Well,
missing?
Housatonic's part of Great Barrington, so if you,
I know, but feedback we get really regularly from people in Housatonic is that, you know, thank you. Case in point, case in point. We have two sort of like village centers, right? And then we have
That's
sort of the
great.
outline.
And I'm Housatonic, even though I have the 0123 zip code, and Van Duzenville, it used to be.
It's because you're on the north side of Division Street. If you were on the south side of Division Street, no. Just kidding.
Bougie girl.
That's why it's called division.
I never thought of that. Okay, and, so one thing in the survey though, Jackie, to your point, that I just wanted to mention here, is it talks about the Berkshire Outside webpage. And so have you used that, Jeremy?
Well, after this, yes.
After this, okay,
After-
I heretofore had not heard of it, and so looked it up.
I hadn't either.
Is this, was that surprise?
Yeah, cause I'm sure it was brought up at least once in one of the things.
I did miss a meeting. I
Yeah,
was away, so maybe it was that one, and I do believe OSRP was discussed then. But have you looked at that website? Because I think in terms of
I
the
looked at it.
size of, well, just the size of our community is small, and so we're trying to think more regionally and collaboratively with like all the towns in Berkshire County to try and not have the burden of costs for like a very complicated
Oh,
outdoor.
I get that, I
Y-
totally get
yeah.
that, I just don't know about, I didn't know about Berkshire outside.
Okay, I'm just curious. So one comment I had also was to include the URL for Berkshire Outside in the survey so that we're then like, you could click on that in the survey and say, oh yeah, I do know all these different places. But I don't know if Berkshire Outside is correlated to the outdoor, designated spaces in the survey. I did not have time to like cross-check that myself. Do you know if that's? the
Oh,
case?
yes, the Berkshire Outside website does include
Everything that's being listed?
most, if not everything that is listed.
Okay,
And there's maybe some specifics, like Berkshire Outside might not list the Mason Library grounds.
yeah,
So it's probably more conventional parks, playgrounds, open spaces
Okay.
than maybe, town hall green.
Yeah.
You know,
Right, well, it's associated with activities.
but Jackie, to your point, I think if we include that URL in the survey, it's one more
It
means of.
satisfies a lot.
Okay.
It meets a lot of needs.
And is BNRC land considered in this?
In what?
The
In the survey?
survey does call out several of the sites
Yeah,
here in
so in
town.
terms of our open space and recreation plan. That,
Oh, yeah.
that's all there.
Yeah,
Yeah, no matter
And
who owns
And
the.
and it should be links to their websites because they have mapping and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. If not in the survey, in the plan
Right.
itself, because if, to your point earlier, if somebody looking for a place to walk or hike or whatever is reading the plan, they should be able to get to those resources.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I think to Jonathan's point, I mean, I think it is a good idea for Great Barrington to have like that kind of resource and pointing that points to all of these things in Great Barrington, because, you know, for visitors, I mean, we are a community that relies a lot on the dollars that are brought in by visitors, but also, you know, we're wanting to attract people to come and live in Great Barrington, hopefully business, and so, you know, that is one of the things that makes Great Barrington really wonderful, is all
Yeah,
of these resources we
absolutely.
have, and so I think it's, you know, would be something that the town should, I mean, that is an incredible resource, but it is Berkshire's, and so, you know, I mean, if we're trying to sell ourselves, then, you know, I mean, we could link it all over the
I
place.
think
but-
link it. I just don't see it being financially feasible for us to like,
There's-
and why would we? Why should we create something totally new when we could build off of something that's developed
Yeah,
regionally?
You could
So-
have a page very simply on the website that's about Parks and Recs, and you have
Mhm.
photos
Yeah.
and you have links to the, you know, Berkshire
And
outside.
maps.
And maps.
Yeah.
You could easily do that without spending a fortune.
Here's
Yeah.
Berkshire outside, Great Barrington has 18 hiking
Yeah.
places listed.
Yeah, it's just writing and images and a proper link in a good
Mhm.
spot. So it's,
We've been, Seth and I have been talking about that, not just links to, parks, but, to the Little League or the soccer league or whomever, like to the people who are organizing the activities, to Rouse for Youth, to whomever is, you know, to the birding group or whatever it is, can go not just the places, but also. the-
it's how you organize your page and let people identify what they're looking for. and
It's
find
so
it.
great when people, you know, when they arrive. To know that, so when people move to town, and, I mean, people are always asking. You know, and,
Yeah, sadly, a lot of people who've lived here for a long time
yeah,
don't know where some of the
no idea.
places are, or the, you know, there may be new opportunities that just like the trail that you got the postcard from.
Yeah.
New opportunities that.
yeah, it's obviously been used by many people for a very, very, very long time. But it's like, it's amazing.
So recreation in this town, does that include like, you pick operations? People come here, this is like something people like to do, or
I think that's more,
farm
I
table
consider that
anything?
agritourism. So
And
like,
that's not a recreational.
I don't consider that recreation.
Hard work.
Yeah. Exactly, picking apples.
It's exercise, it's like running.
Blueberries.
Should be.
Yeah, no, I think of the recreation as a range of, you know, passive to active, you know, from like sitting at McAllister Park and observing the sunset to,
Climbing a mountain.
yeah, climbing up monuments, to a sports, sporting of a baseball game down here at the Memorial Field or down at Olympia Meadows.
And I don't know how we do it, but the River is a wonderful resource. And there's no public access.
Yeah,
Wait, there is,
There's lots of
right
access.
at the end of
but
your
it's all-
street.
No, there's a lot of access,
Oh.
but none of it's public, it's all privately owned.
And you have to park in a no parking
It's-
sign.
it's like it's public.
It's a legal place.
And so I don't know how we address that, but that's tricky, but I think it's a great resource that people love.
mm-hmm,
Absolutely.
But then we have to put all the warnings on it because of all of the agricultural runoff into it.
Only when it's dark.
Well,
We
no
also
PCBs.
E. coli thing
Yeah.
in front of it.
Well, because
So-
they're next to farmland.
we're spiraling
Okay, I
here.
have another question about the, idea relating to the survey. And I was
Okay.
just wondering, I don't remember seeing places where I could actually write in what I'd like to see.
There are.
There are.
There's
Yeah.
Boxes.
Because
Several.
But at one, I felt like I just couldn't get there from here, which is like a really. I would like, if, I would write down that I'd like to see Cottage Street turned into an extension of Stanley Park.
I'm sure there's a spot for that.
There is
So-
an open question here at
No,
the,
I know there's little ones at the
There's-
bottom of the,
Beach, yeah.
yeah, there was like a completely open-ended, what haven't you told us that you want to tell us already?
okay.
Sort of question.
Is there
Yeah.
anything on there about ticks and poison ivy?
No, I think recreation you do at your own risk, including ticks and poison ivy.
Because that's the one,
That should be on the Board of Health.
no, because that's the one thing that keeps me from all that outside work.
Especially if you're all the people coming from Hawaii.
No taste.
No ticks, no poison ivy.
So
And no Jeremy.
No snakes.
I can't remember. I think some of the trailheads do have like little info signs that talk about things like ticks and poison ivy.
Or if the trails are wide enough, you really want to talk uncut grass.
Many of them are. So it really just depends,
So that
right?
would be in the description
Of what?
of the trail where you're going to go walking.
That it's wide enough to avoid ticks?
Well, you don't say it like that, but you
Right.
say it's 3, 4, 5 feet wide and you can walk without. I don't know, I mean, I would love to find that information.
Well,
That sounds granular,
I don't know.
where we're at tonight on a survey discussion, but point taken.
No, it's just these open, it's the open fields. We have enough open fields in the survey. The hole that you write your,
A lot
I'd
of
like to
open-
think
There are a
about
lot
it.
of open.
There are.
There are a
and
lot
that's,
of.
I've seen them, but I just don't see.
Open fields are, honestly, wow, that's a great place to get ticks.
I know you didn't know that.
Yes, you go up to the
You're my
high school
buddy.
in the fields and it's on Tick Central.
True. All right, do we have other comments on the survey? I will send you my red lines, Chris,
my-
after this.
My
meeting.
comment was, I hope and I hope we get a lot of feedback. I think it's a really good opportunity to try to engage, like high school age.
Teenagers.
Yeah,
And this is just one input tool, and it's just one way to let people know that a plan and a discussion is happening.
Yeah, well, and I think it's a great way because open space and rec is it's a easy sell, right? It's an easy sell to teenagers, so. As opposed to,
I mean, I want to quote Joe Benina, who says this a lot, which is like, go where the people are.
Mm.
Yeah.
And when start questioning what they want, what they like, what they need, instead of just, a survey like this, so it come to a town meeting.
You mean ask what they want,
Yeah.
not question what they want.
Oh, question, why? I would recommend going over there, not.
And are you putting the availability of the survey out on social media?
Oh, we sure will, yeah. And Seth talked about some other methods that he's used in the past, handing out business cards at events and tabling at events and farmers markets.
Well, social media would be huge.
Definitely.
if we
yeah.
could do a QR code too, that people can like click on that
Yep.
launches the survey, cause
Yeah,
that's,
they have a lot of good
Yeah.
success with surveys, so they're good ideas.
Okay. all right.
so what's the you're gonna get the comments and, what steps have to be taken?
You're gonna send me your comments, right?
Yes,
For sending comments,
You send me the comments.
and
and
then
at the next meeting.
We'll talk
where do
again.
we go from here? I mean, when does this survey? begin?
Seth's coming back at the next meeting, right?
Seth's
The
coming
second.
to our next
20
meeting, we'll
25th.
talk more then, he
Okay.
can share what he's been discussing with other groups. And doing interviews and meetings with other groups. And yeah, we'll get more of an update then and talk about a timeline to launch the survey, maybe even pick some dates for the community meetings over the winter time.
The survey is gonna be relatively quick too, right? So we're gonna have
Yeah.
to get out and.
And meanwhile, of course, BNRC is working on the data, the maps,
Mhm.
and those sorts of things. All that is happening in the background. Yeah.
I mean, I got patched into the Egremont listserv, and the way they do things is phenomenal in terms of the information they're getting out there all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think we could learn something from that.
That's good. They have, I'm guessing they have, more time to do that. We do have, some PR help to help us on social media.
I think they're
would-
just volunteers in the community.
Yeah,
that are
that's
putting
great.
it
So we'll
out.
definitely rely on all of you as volunteers to push this out to your networks. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's incumbent on all of us, to do that.
Okay. Excellent, thank you. All right, so if we can, after today's meeting, send our comments into Chris, that will give him time to get those over to Seth for our next meeting on the 25th. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right. All right, next item on the agenda are board and subcommittee updates, issues and concern. Malcolm? Jeremy?
No, so while C meets next week, Thursday, that's so I sent that around.
Yeah.
That's the public hearing for the plan. So.
Are they meeting in this room?
Yes. And so we'll probably by the end of that meeting, we'll vote on the plan after close the public hearing. Have more discussion. That will be the plan.
Great, thank you. Jackie?
Nothing.
Donovan?
No.
All right, nothing for me. So next item on our agenda is citizen speak. Anyone in the room? Anyone online? Oh, we have a hand raised.
Oh, great. Oh, I bet that's me.
Did we raise our hand?
Is that you, Chris?
I think this might be Vivian.
Hi,
It often is.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, it's Julie Anajar from Parks and Recreation.
Oh, hi, Julie.
I don't know why I come up as Town of Great Barrington, but I was just listening. Wanted
You need to pay your bills.
Yeah. I just wanted the board to know that the OSRP will be on the agenda of Parks and Recreation next Monday. We were already just having preliminary discussions about just gathering information for the planning board. So we'll keep you updated.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wonderful. Anything else from folks online? All right, hearing nothing else, we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:49. Thanks,
Short
guys.
meeting.
That's a
I thought
short
one
meeting.
was in the room.
I know.